So if you saw the last video, which I will link somewhere, I did some very soft fruit. I did papaya, and I showed how well this machine, the Omega Cold Press 365, how well it handled. Well, now I'm going the complete opposite side, and I'm doing something very hard, which is carrots. If you saw my initial review, that's one of the few things I did not juice, so I've been really curious as to how it would work out. And I did try carrots 2 different times now, so this will be the 3rd time. And one thing I noticed is before I was cutting them very small, as the instruction booklet suggested, but I found that they would, when they would go down, they would turn sideways and they would kind of roll around, and it would take a little longer and a little more work to get it to go through to get juice. So this time I'm going to try them whole, and I did just make sure that the diameter, it would fit in the little chute. So hopefully this will go better than my last 2 times. It did juice and it did a good job. It's just a little more work. So maybe this will be easier. So let's give it a shot. Definitely feels easier than the last time I did. Obviously, since it was so tall, it was a little obnoxious. But it's doing a good job. Yeah, I'll just use my hand. So it's going through it super smoothly. That's awesome to see, because I was wondering if it would kind of strain the machine too much. But it's chewing through it even easier than I can on my own. So I only did 2 carrots just because, well, I don't want to hold juice today. So one thing I have been trying, and I'll probably turn this back on to show you, is this is the pulp it left over from just the one pass through. And it's pretty dry. It doesn't stick to my fingers, which is great. It shows it got a lot of moisture out, but I've been running it through twice. So let's see if any more juice comes out when I do that this time. So what I will do, I'm actually just going to scoop this in here. And turn that back on. Alright, so some more juice is coming out, not a ton, because like I said, it actually came through pretty dry. But there's definitely more juice coming out. And it's good to the last drop, so I think it's worth it. I don't really think you're missing out on a lot if you don't run it through again, but I just like to get as much volume of juice as I can. So, speaking of, 2 whole carrots came out to about 4 ounces. So I think that's pretty good, especially because carrots are pretty high in sugar content. It's natural sugar, so it's still good for you, but this would actually be a perfect amount for carrots. So obviously if you're mixing it with some leafy greens, you can get the volume up, but for straight carrot shots, this is the perfect amount. And I think that this handled beautifully. It definitely worked a lot easier having the whole carrots instead of cutting them into chunks. Just my suggestion. So if you get this machine or even just have another masticating juicer, I would suggest letting them be a little longer just to make it easier for the process. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Aloha!